We are so glad to have you on the podcast, Lovega. How have you been?
Very well, Mommy, and thank you for this opportunity.
Wonderful. So tell us a bit about yourself.
Sure, so my name is Solveiga, and my name in some ways represents who I am. It means sun, sol, it means sun, and big means path. And I like to bring sun and shine to other people's path. I work as an HR consultant, but I also coach immigrants. And recently, I want to help make a difference on immigrant community at organizational level because I feel very passionate helping immigrants succeed professionally in United States. And I want to use my voice, even if I'm not a perfect speaker myself, to address gaps in organizations and to speak for those who have trouble speaking themselves.
Wonderful. I think that is great because many immigrants need that when we come to new countries, there is a gap, learning the language, trying to find our foot, and then start the journey. So well done. So tell us about your immigrant story. We want to know the ins and outs. How did you end up in the US? I know you are not a native. You moved from one country and then you came to the US. Tell us about the journey.
Sure. So my journey is I'm from Lithuania, a small country in Eastern Europe. And I met my husband in Lithuania, and he's American. And when we got married, he told me, "Why we just go check out the United States?" And yes, checking out sounds nice, but I realized very shortly after that checking out and being a visitor is not the same as being an immigrant. Being an immigrant is definitely a challenging experience. And yes, it was many days that I wish I was back in Lithuania, and I still would like to live in Lithuania. I love my country, but when we have a family from people from different countries, one of us have to sacrifice.
So you sacrificed and you moved to United States. When you came in the beginning, how was it like?
Well, it was hard. I thought it's going to be difficult, but I never thought it's going to be so difficult.
Mhm.
At that time, I had a master degree from the best university in Lithuania in industrial psychology or organizational development. And I thought I will get at least entry-level job in human resources. But first, I was not getting any interviews. And my family and friends told me that I should try a career that is where English might be not as important because at that time my English was not good. And other people told me that if I go to finance or international development where I can use language skills might be easier. However, I felt I invested already 6 years of my education. I felt passionate about the field and I decided to pursue my dream, no matter how long it takes. And of course, as I said, I decided to go to get my master degree, second master degree in human resources. I took English classes. I got unpaid internship in human resources. And of course, I worked at the same time because I needed income. But my first job was nothing went perfect. I worked at Gap in the store, and my first pay was $7.50. And of course, you want to work where you really feel passionate and where your education is. So when I started getting my second master degree in human resources, I started getting interviews. And first of all, I was very excited because I thought, well, now my dream is closer. But my interviewing experience was nothing unpleasant. My interviews frequently ended after the first question. My voicemails will not get returned. And sometimes I saw that people stop being interested in me after the first question.
Mm.
And it was painful. And sometimes not getting a job was better than having a bad interviewing experience because it felt that I'm not enough even to have an interview like other people do. And in some ways, that those bad interviewing experience motivated me because I saw that even my language is not native, I can do a better job because I can see a human on the other side of the table.
Mhm.
And that motivated me to pursue my dream. I decided to get better in the interviews. And then little by little, I was able to establish myself professionally. It took me 3 years to find my first job. I'm still very grateful for my first manager who not only hired me, but who was my mentor, who really helped me to succeed. And he told me about so many different aspects in human resources that I even didn't know. And he trusted me and he empowered me. And I'm really grateful for him. And of course, later on became easier. Every single job, it becomes easier.
Wow, that has been quite a journey. But talking about your challenges and then ultimately landing your first job, what did you think helped you to land your first job? How different did you go for the interview? Are there any tips that you have for new immigrants who are seeking to find a job in a new country?
Yeah, so I had to do a lot of work of myself. First, I've realized I needed to change my own mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't think the same as in my country. Being humble might be a good quality in Lithuania, but doesn't go far away in United States.
Mm.
You have to learn to sell yourself and you have to show your own value for others. Because if you don't show your own value, nobody else will see it. I starting going to the interviews because at some point I thought I might not get a job in human resources ever, but I want to get better in the interviews. So every interview I went, I tried to do better than before, and I stopped caring what other people think on other side of the table because I just wanted to do better for myself. And when you stop comparing yourself to others and you try to improve every interview you go, you see the progress and you start doing better.
Mm-hmm.
And you stop paying attention to other people's opinions about you and you get more confidence. And that definitely helped not only me to succeed professionally, but now I can help other immigrants better because I realized that hard interviewing experience was the best school for me. And not only about the interviews, but understanding what it's like to rebuild your confidence when you can help others. What it's like not to have a hope and then to regain that hope. What it's like, to go through a lot of challenges and become more stronger yourself. And that experience, as I said, I became more resilient myself and I now can help others better.
That is a testament of how anything that happens to us as immigrants, they don't just happen to us, but they happen for us. It shapes
Mhm.
us, it helps us grow, it helps us build resilience. And just as you said, you were humble, but you knew that being humble alone will not help you land that job. You needed to know yourself. You also needed to know your own values, what you bring to the table. Amazing, wonderful. So let's pause and reflect. The journey so far, tell us about it. How has it been? Is it worth it to leave your country and come to the new country? Does the immigrant dream exist? The dream to whatever dreams that we have, that does it exist? Does it come into reality, you think?
Sure, yeah. So this is a great question. So yeah, I think it was many days that I really, were very, very difficult. But going back and reflecting on my journey, I see that being an immigrant was the most difficult experience of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, the experience that shaped me who I am today. I became a stronger professional because I took every opportunity to learn, because I understood very well that the only way I could compete is to become more knowledgeable. I became stronger and more resilient myself, and I stopped comparing myself to others, but comparing myself to myself. And yes, when I compare even now myself with other native speakers, I don't sound the same. But when I compare myself where I was 20 years ago, I feel proud of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I also became more sensitive to others and led me to help and mentor other immigrants. In the last 7 years, I mentored and coached many immigrants professionals, helping them with the job search. And what I've noticed that it's really beautiful to achieve your own success, but helping somebody else to succeed is more powerful. There is not a better feeling when you get a phone call from somebody and telling Solvega, I got a job, and be a first person who will call you. It's not a better feeling to see that some of the students I mentored got accepted to the top schools in the United States that I never went to,
Mm-hmm.
like George Washington, Georgetown, Harvard University. That some of my students got not the first job, second jobs, get multiple job offers. And the most importantly, it's beautiful to see that some of my students starting mentoring others. And that it always feels very emotional to me. And now, as I said, I really want to make impact on an immigrants at organizational level because I see that a lot of bias exists. And I also want to be a voice for immigrants and to encourage them to tell their stories on the social media. And I see the importance of it because many immigrants feel that, somebody else is a better speaker. And yes, frequently it's true, but that's why those stories are missing.
Mm-hmm.
And the more immigrants will share their stories, no matter how uncomfortable it feels, immigrant voices becomes more powerful, the stories becomes more powerful, and that's what my dream to inspire others to go out of your own zone of comfort and be an example for them myself.
That is excellent. Thank you for sharing that. And I would say that we have shared your part of your story on our socials, and I think it will bless many. Your journey, how you started, how you landed in the US and your HR career, and how you have sought growth and then grown up until this time. It's amazing. And I would say that your English language skills, how you are speaking, is wonderful. It's amazing. Well done.
Thank you.
What advice would you give to somebody who is new in a country that needs to learn the language? What is the best way to learn a new language?
Of course, taking classes, practicing, is also being, just getting over yourself and don't have a guilt about your language. Practice as much as possible. And as I said, stop comparing yourself to others. It's impossible to compare yourself to native speakers. Your language might never be the same, but give a grace and kindness to yourself and
Mhm.
give time to yourself. Don't be so hard. I think as an immigrants, we always want to succeed the next day. And yes, I think understanding that we can do as much in one day. Take one day at a time, one conversation at a time. Because yes, when you will go back after a year, you'll see the progress you made. When you go back after 5 years, you'll see the bigger progress you made. And we should be proud and not feel guilty about, if we make a mistake, so we sound different, because this is what we bring. We bring uniqueness, difference, and this is our voice. And sometimes, yes, it might be not perfect, but this is a voice for us and the voice of difference.
This is our voice. We need to speak. And if you are learning a language, you need to practice and do not compare yourself to others. Well said. Let's talk about mentorship. What are your thoughts on seeking mentorship as an immigrant?
So yeah, I had amazing mentors in my life. And yes, my first manager was a mentor, but I haven't sought a mentors of myself for some time. I actually starting mentoring others first because when I starting interviewing others, and I noticed that a lot of immigrants make the same mistakes as I do.
Mm-hmm.
We don't tell their stories. We don't show their unique value to the organization. We undersell the experience. We are too humble. We speak too much or too little. And then I thought I can help them to do better in the interviews and help better to succeed professionally and to teach them what I've learned myself through my own mistakes. And when I start mentoring other immigrants, I didn't know if I can help. But as I said, like later on, I have so many success stories and it feels amazing. However, when I see that mentoring is always two-way journey. I've learned as much from others as we were learning from me. I see mentoring, the best mentoring is when the line who's mentoring whom disappears and you learn together from each other, from our own journey. And you really start helping each other to succeed. I've learned so much from my mentees. They inspired me to launch my own consultancy. They're the ones who told me, Solveiga, be the voice for others. Don't afraid to speak up. Even I felt uncomfortable myself. They helped me to prepare for my first speech. Um, and then, yeah, recently I had a lot of amazing mentors myself because at one point I thought, oh, actually, I need a mentor. And I start reaching out to people and say, can I have a half-hour mentoring session? And I was surprised how many people said yes. When you don't ask, you don't get mentors. But when you start reaching out, and then some mentoring sessions were only half hour, but some mentoring sessions lasted for months. And some mentors I have now for 2 or 3 years. And we're really trying to help each other out. And I've learned so much from them. And I hope you learn from me as well.
Amazing. So mentorship is really important in the life of an
Mhm.
immigrant and everybody in general.
Yeah, and I think, you know what, people sometimes seek a mentor, somebody at higher level or
Mm-hmm.
somebody in their field. But I would suggestion for immigrants that look at that every person can be a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
My best mentors came actually outside of HR. They came from different fields, from different backgrounds and different walks of lives. And I see that the best mentors are the ones who help you to see the world from a different perspective. And I think, yeah, like I'm really grateful that the people I mentored, immigrants, came from all around the world, from different continents except Australia.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's amazing because actually we have many more in common.
Mm-hmm.
But every time you mentor somebody, you learn, it opens your own eyes to the world.
Absolutely. So mentors help you to see the world in a different light. So share some ideas on constant learning and self-improvement to stay ahead of your industry as an immigrant.
Yeah, so I told at the beginning, you know, that I realized very early on that the only way I can compete is to become more knowledgeable. And that's why, like, I had a degree in industrial psychology, but I got the second degree in human resources management in the United States. So my education will be recognized. I got certificates. I took English classes. I joined a Toastmasters club to improve my public speaking skills. I took every opportunity to learn. I took so many webinars and seminars, and yet it paid out and helped me to stand out from others. I also seek mentors and I mentored others. Recently, I got accepted to the Senior HR Leadership Program through Society of Human Resources for the first cohort, and only 14 professionals in DC area were selected, and I was the only immigrant among them. And it felt, I felt like, I never reached that level. But as I said, I think hard work pays out. And in the past, if I was uncomfortable being in the room where I'm the only immigrant, now if I'm in the room where I'm the only immigrant, I know that I'm in the right room because I can bring perspective on immigrants. In the past, if I was really bad in the interviewing, now I help others. In the past, networking was the worst thing because I really felt uncomfortable. Now, networking is something I truly enjoy, and there is not a better feeling to connect other person to opportunities. And I'm still not the best public speaker, but I know every time I speak, I get better.
Mhm.
So I see that, every opportunity for learning is a valuable investment for your own future.
Every opportunity to learn is a valuable investment in your future. I agree. Let's talk about the difference you are making as an immigrant in your community. Nowadays, how do you choose to serve and why? So, your current job and also how you are helping out immigrants. Tell us about this impact that you are making.
So helping immigrants feels very personal to me. I think, when I help other immigrants, it feels that I helped somebody else like me 20 years ago because I know how difficult that journey can be, kind of difficult can feel. And yes, like I enjoy and I helped a lot of immigrants in the last 7 years on volunteering basis. I helped as a long-term mentor. I helped preparing just for like one interview at a time or helping with a resume or via LinkedIn accounts. But now I truly want to make the difference on immigrant community at organizational level. And the conversation started recently when I did my first podcast this summer. And when I wanted to inspire other immigrants, but I got very nervous And when I didn't even wanted to share my podcast because I didn't like it myself. However, like when I shared it, I didn't expect it to get so many messages. And the messages came to me, I also didn't expect it. They told me, Solveiga, this was powerful. Be a voice for us. It was, I can relate with everything you said, but I never could be so open to share about immigrant experiences or stereotypes we face.
Mhm.
Please continue doing. You're not the best person to lead the change. Please continue doing. And I talked, my mentor after that, and I said, I don't know what to do. I feel I'm not, even comfortable doing my own video recordings. I'm not feeling comfortable, to be a voice, and yet so many people expect that. And I got the most beautiful message that really changed, and I think I want to share that with others. He told me that, Solveiga, if you are not going to lead, who is going to do that? If you are not going to speak, who is going to speak? And the only reason, and sometimes alternatives are not acceptable. The only reason Alvin Ali created his dance company because nobody else did it. And just think about all the opportunities would be lost and all the dancers who never danced. And then he told me, Solveiga, you're also not alone in this journey. I will be here to support you. And then I realized, yes, it feels uncomfortable, but I feel the same as a lot of other immigrants that somebody else is a better speaker. Somebody else is a better represent. And that's why, I thought about different HR conferences I go, and I thought I never heard an immigrant speaking
Mhm.
from an immigrant's perspective about the challenges in the workplaces. I thought about every single HR group I had. And yes, most time I'm the only immigrant in most groups. And then nobody else except for me speaks. And yes, I thought, yes, I want to make the difference. I have to get comfortable to make the difference and get out of my zone comfort if I want to inspire others to do so.
Amazing. We would say that as a community, we are proud of you. We are cheering you on. Do not stop, keep going, and keep being that voice for immigrants. Because our stories as immigrants are very powerful. And if we do not share them, no one will know about our journey, our experiences, and of course, the significant impact that we are making in our community. So it's amazing what you are doing. Keep going. And I want to know, how can one make an impact in your view?
I truly believe that one person maybe not be able to change the world.
Mhm.
However, it's our responsibility to do everything in our power to be the difference we want to see in others. And yes, sometimes it means just making feel somebody special on that day. Sometimes, having a conversation that can help somebody else. Sometimes sharing your own voice and inspiring others to do so. But I truly believe that each of us can make a big difference for somebody else's lives. But we have to do that. We have to reach out. We have to speak up. We have to lend our hand. We have to notice another person when we need that help.
Amazing. So I want to ask you this question. What would you do if you knew you could not fail?
I think I see Pila as the best teacher. The best teacher. And this year, I decided to challenge myself of everything that is challenging and to do things even knowing that I may fail it. Because I thought if I will not try, I will regret it. So it's better for me to try and fail it, but not regret it. So I started my own consultancy, even I still don't know if I will succeed or fail, but I never felt as inspired as I am now and the difference I can make. I start speaking and posting videos now like frequently on social media that I never thought to do that before. And yes, every time I post it, it feels uncomfortable. And sometimes I don't like it even myself, but every time I do it, it becomes more comfortable. As I said in the past, I reach out to a lot of, I reach out to a lot of people to get and ask them for help. And sometimes it's not easy to ask for help. When I came to United States, I was very self-reliant, and for me, asking help is difficult. But sometimes asking help is important and need it and gets out of your zone of comfort. And you understand that as much as you give help for others, sometimes you need help and you should be comfortable with that because you're
Mhm.
strong together. So yeah, like I've done a lot of things this year and getting out of my zone of comfort. And I've learned a lot about myself. I found the strengths I never knew it. I'm on this podcast today because I reached out to you And thank you, Mommy. I think you don't realize how big difference you make in immigrant community yourself. I've listened several podcasts for preparing for this conversation, and each conversation is just so different and inspiring and powerful. So thank you for being the difference for others.
That is humbling. Thank you as well. And so, what is the most important thing you do today to make tomorrow better?
So, as I said, I truly want to make the difference on immigrant community at organizational level, to start conversations that frequently are not happening in the organizations.
Mm-hmm.
I to change people's perspectives and really almost walk and experience what it feels to be an immigrant, what it's like to be an immigrant. And I believe those conversations will change your world, because when you understand what it feels like to be an immigrant, then when you leave a room, the world changes and you don't see the world in the same way. And after that, I want, when people will, look at the resume, will not reject resume automatically, just thinking that somebody's experience is not relevant,
Mm-hmm.
somebody's education is not good, somebody's language is not good, even without speaking of them. I want this conversation open people's heart. And when you start recruiting, not only of your mind, but of your heart, things changes. Because I want people, when they hire somebody and interview somebody, think that is it about the candidate who is not a good fit? Or if I am not comfortable to working with somebody different than me. I truly hope that these conversations will help not only immigrants, but for everybody else, to have organizations, teams that are more diverse, teams of people from more diverse backgrounds, because when you have people from diverse backgrounds and diverse education and diverse points of view, your world changes, your world it expands, and everybody benefits.
Well said. Thank you for sharing these truths with us. So it's time to invite our community to come and support you. Is there any project that you are doing that you want us to know about and come and support you with?
Mommy, you're already supporting me, just inviting to this podcast, just allowing me to share my story. And but yes, I think I need help. As I said, I truly need help myself, because I just started my own consultancy. So far I got a few speaking arrangements, but so far all of them are unpaid. So hopefully I will get a paid opportunities in the organizations, that not only I can support immigrant community, but support my own family. I will look forward, to have more invitations to podcast, the speeches, to share the story, to inspire other immigrants, and to make a difference for immigrants, for immigrant community. I would also like people just connecting and sharing the posts and sharing their own stories, because as I said, I feel we are more powerful together. And the more stories come from more immigrants, from more diverse backgrounds, I think the world will change, because people will see the value that immigrants can bring.
Absolutely. We are more powerful together. So let's collaborate and then make more impact. So please complete the sentence for us. We are wrapping up. Immigrants are.
I'll give you a few answers.
They are welcome. Let's go.
Immigrants are champions of making the bold leap into the unknown. Immigrants are the influencers of the future. Immigrants are the North Star for inspiration and hope for others.
Wow, that is so sweet. Those are 3 powerful affirmations that we can all use so that we can improve upon ourselves and become better people, and then share our values with others and make that significant impact that the world needs. Thank you so much for gracing us and coming on the podcast. We are so glad you came. Thank you.
Mommy, thank you so much. You're amazing, and I'm so happy that we are connected. Please continue doing what you're doing. You truly make a difference for others.
Thank you. I am thankful to have connected with you on this podcast. I want to ask you a favor. Please do subscribe, and by doing that, you help us to bring on many wonderful guests that we can all learn from, grow, and make an impact.